Hello, happy Thursday. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So here I am. We're going to talk about fasting. If you've been here a while, you know it's something I talk about a lot. You know it's something that I'm very passionate about in terms of overhauling your health. And so today we're going to have a conversation about why fasting should be something you should consider, my best tips and hacks, I guess, about including fasting in your lifestyle. And then I'm going to share with you a way in which we can work together to implement fasting as your lifestyle for health overall. And here's the thing. There's lots of people that have a lot to say about fasting, okay? And if you're one of those people, then I hope you stay. I hope you stick around. I hope you give us the opportunity to have a conversation, because one thing that I know is that fasting has been around for millennia, right? As long as humans have walked this earth, fasting has been something we have done, whether intentionally or not. And back in the day, when we're running away from saber-toothed tigers and hiding in caves, fasting was done unintentionally, but it was done nevertheless, right? Our ancestors did not wake up and think about eating 5 times a day. Our ancestors did not get up and think about breakfast, lunch, dinner with 2 snacks in between. Our ancestors, food just was not available as well as emotional as it is now. And so for those people that have shit to say about fasting, I really would encourage you to look at which is the fad. And I've talked about this in a video that I did last week, I think. Which is the fad? Something that's been around for as long as humans have walked this earth, or the way in which we're told to eat now that's only been in the last 30, 40, 50 years. I'm just gonna leave that there. But anyway, today we're going to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about my top tips on implementing fasting in your lifestyle, and then a little tidbit about how we can get together and implement it, actually do it, put it into practice. So if you have questions, anything comes up, please pop them in the comments and we will talk it through. I'm not going to look at any comments while I'm talking initially because I get distracted. Okay, so why should you care about fasting? Okay, there's a number of reasons. I'll talk about health. I'll talk about weight loss. A lot of you are here to learn from me. You're in this ecosystem because weight loss is your goal. I tend to attract those people because that has been my story for a very long time. So why you should care about fasting for health. Overall, fasting is an excellent way to rebalance, restabilize, and manage your hormones. And I don't know about you, but as a woman who is not getting any younger, despite how much I fight it, hormones are huge. They're huge. They play a massive role in our lives. They play a massive role in how we feel, and that in turn plays a role in our overall health, right? So fasting, because of its, its impact on our hormones, is actually something that we can do. Hi, Sarah. Is actually something that we can do to help find that balance. If you find that you're bloated a lot, if you find that you feel lethargic a lot after eating, if you find that you're constantly thinking about food, fasting could be a solution to any of these things. I had one of my clients send me a message a couple of days ago, and I think I shared it yesterday actually, about we've been in this process now for 8 weeks. This is week 8. And she's like, Sabrina, like I haven't lost a huge amount of weight, 11 pounds, but whatever. She was like, I haven't lost a huge amount of weight, but I didn't realize that I'm not supposed to feel like shit. I didn't realize that I didn't have to always go to bed super bloated. I didn't realize that I could actually feel good with the food that I was eating. And what has she done? She's implemented fasting in her routine. So I share that with you because our bodies are not meant to feel like dog shit. So if you've got habits or behaviors in your life that are, these messages are killing me. If you've got behaviors, habits in your life right now where you go to bed feeling super bloated, you go to bed feeling heavy, you feel lethargic throughout your day, you're having the spike in energy and the big crash in energy throughout your day. If you, TMI, but you suffer from PMS, like to a severe degree, these things are not normal. I feel like we hear that messaging all the time, like that normalization of being bloated, and you see these women that are super tiny and they let the belly go and they're like, yeah, I get bloated too. Our bodies are not supposed to feel like that. We're not supposed to suffer. We're not supposed to struggle. We're not supposed to feel like dog shit, okay? So fasting is something that can help us manage our hormones, help them find stabilization, because we've been pulled out of whack with all the different lifestyle changes and all those pulls on our energy, and we're in fight or flight mode constantly, just with the way our lifestyles are these days. We're not supposed to feel like that. And fasting is a way that can help that, right? And then from the weight loss perspective, it's all the same. It's pretty much all the same things. We struggle to lose weight often because we have this, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but there's this food relationship that is completely off balance. And so when we implement fasting, all of a sudden, again, hormones that are released during the digestive process get the opportunity to settle down, to chill the F out. And so our bodies can actually drop the excess weight that we're just carrying around. And I'm going to stick with fasting for weight loss for just a second to give you just one demonstration of how powerful fasting can be. And then we'll move on. You with me? Okay, so Sarah, she's like, preach, yes. No, never stop, never stop. Give me all the affirmation. Okay, so fasting for weight loss. I'll talk about one specific hormone, and if you've been here any length of time, you've heard me talk about this before, but I think it's one that most clearly demonstrates the power of fasting, especially in the weight loss process, but in health as well. So insulin. We've all heard of that hormone insulin, right? It's produced by the beta cells in our pancreas, and it's produced as a response to eating, right? So when we eat, we get the food in our mouth, we chew it all up, we swallow. The beta cells in our pancreas release insulin in order to pull the sugar from that food out of our bloodstream and either send it to cells, organs, etc., to be used for energy right now, or to be sent to the fat cells and stored to be used for energy later. Got that? So insulin's function is to pull sugar from our bloodstream and either use it as energy now or save it for energy later. And how it saves it for energy is as fat, right? So all this extra, I've got a lot of extra, all this extra that we have on our body are our fat stores, our energy stores, if you want to put it that way, because of that insulin cycle. So I hope you can see that every time you consume food, you're starting this insulin production process. So every time, like in the past, or maybe this is still your habit now, you act on that messaging of I need to eat every 3 or 4 hours. Sorry, I need to eat every 2 or 3 hours, eating 5 to 6 meals a day. Your body is in a constant insulin production process. And what does insulin do? It either uses that energy from the food you're eating for use now, or it stores it as fat for use later. So if you have weight on your body, fat on your body that you're wanting to lose, but you're eating every 5 to 6 hours, as the fitness and nutrition industry tells us we should do, your body is never getting the opportunity to get into these energy stores, these fat stores, to use that excess. It's always just using the food you're eating for the energy now. Can you see that? Is this making sense? Put it this way. I heard this analogy once and it resonates so deeply with me. So imagine insulin as like a soldier, Soldier, it's standing there with its musket. How British am I? So it's standing there with its musket, right? And behind the soldier is a door. It's a doorway. So it's standing guard in front of this door with its musket. That door is your fat stores, right? But your body never has the opportunity to get through that door because the soldier is here standing guard. It's like, don't mess with me. Like, you better back the F up because I got my musket. You're not getting in there, right? When we fast, and so we're not consuming food, the insulin production process isn't being triggered. Our musketed up soldier gets to take a little nap. He gets to have a little sleep. He gets to, chill. And so you can step over him, open the door, and access your fat stores. Does that kind of paint the picture for you? So the point that I'm trying to make is that when we're not eating, and this is something that we do naturally, like you're not eating while you're sleeping, at least I hope you're not. So for most of us, we are fasting for about 10 hours a day-ish, something like that. If you sleep for 8 hours, hopefully you're not eating an hour or two before you go to bed. Even if you do get up and have something to eat straight away, you're fasting for about 10 hours a day. The longer you can stretch that, the longer your insulin is asleep. And so your body gets access to your fat stores to use for energy. And when that happens, you start to drop fat. So fasting for weight loss hopefully is very clear. And when it comes to fasting for health, like it's not one or the other. If we have excess fat, often it's visceral fat that is the dangerous fat on us, like especially in the midsection, especially in men. But that visceral fat, the fat that surrounds our organs, is the fat that we don't want to have excess amounts of. So if you can train your body to use that fat for energy, you're getting healthier too. If you're reducing your amassed body fat, you're increasing and improving your health. Okay, so that's just a very brief kind of like, this is why fasting is so beneficial. So hopefully you can see in yourself, either way your hormones are jacked up, where you feel super lethargic, where you're having that spike and fall of energy. If you're not eating, you're not having that spike and fall of energy, right? And I'm not saying come off this live and immediately don't eat for 24 hours. Like, be smart. Maybe you just start by extending out that first meal you have in the morning. Maybe you finish your last meal at 8 p.m. and usually you have your first meal at 8 a.m. Maybe tomorrow you try and push that to 9 a.m. or maybe you try and push it to 10 a.m. Most intermittent fasters, so people that fast on pretty much a daily basis, aim for that 16-8 ratio. So we fast for 16 hours and have all of our meals within an 8-hour window. That's the practice that I adopt. I've been fasting that way or having that as my lifestyle for almost 4 years. Almost 4 years. And my body continues to fluctuate because I am healing from an incredibly negative relationship with food. But when it comes to my health, I'm in the best physical health that I've been in a long time, probably ever. And I feel like I can attribute that to fasting because that's the only constant that has been in my life for the last 4 years. Okay, so I'm going to make another point and then go back to what I was just about to say. Consistency. It's not sexy. It's not the thing you want to hear. It's not the message, because everyone wants to know what they can do for 2.4 seconds and have the body and the health that they want. It doesn't work like that. You have to be consistent in your actions in order to see the result that you're seeking. Bottom line, no bullshit. That's it, right? So if you've tried fasting before, or you've tried eating a certain way before, you've tried changing your lifestyle before and it hasn't stuck, you've lost a little bit of weight and then it came back on, or you just don't see the progress you're looking for, how long are you actually being consistent? Because for the love of God, you have to stick with it long enough to see it work. You have to stick with it, whatever it is, long enough to give it the opportunity to work, especially if you recognize that your health is in the toilet. Like if your hormones are jacked up, you feel all of those things that I listed. If that's where your body currently is at, if you have a lot of excess weight to lose, if you have an autoimmune condition, if you have type 2 diabetes, if you have any inflammatory related condition, if you have obesity, if you're pre-diabetic, if you have metabolic syndrome, any of those things, your body is like jacked. Your body is like, yo, I've been telling you for years that things need to change. You haven't listened. So here you go, right? So in order to change that, you need to be taking consistent action, probably for longer than you would like to, before you start seeing change. And I heard this analogy the other day, and I want to share it with you. I shared it with my client community on our call yesterday. I just saw that Steph came on, so she heard it. But two people start a race, right? One person, the first person gets to halfway to the finish line, turns around, decides they're going to quit, and goes back. The second person gets halfway to the finish line and decides that they're going to finish the race and keeps going forward. Both people travel the same distance. Person one gets halfway, turns around, goes back. Person two gets halfway, continues, goes forward. Only one of those people reaches their goal. You get to decide which person you're going to be. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely freaking not. No. These things that I've changed in my lifestyle, the things that I coach my clients to change in their lifestyle, these are some of the hardest things we've ever had to do. Not because the action is hard, because our Patrice, I call this bitch that lives inside my head, her name is Patrice, because Patrice is so freaking obnoxious and loud. Patrice is always telling me, you can't do it. Oh, Sabrina, it's too hard. Oh, Sabrina, that chocolate looks really good. Oh, Sabrina, you don't need to do that today. Oh, Sabrina, you saw some results? You deserve to have that pizza and wine. That stuff is hard. Getting through that is hard. Taking the action is not hard. The mental part of the process is hard. Can any of you agree with me when I say that? So doing the things is not hard. That's not hard. It's simple. But actually being in that space where you're working on your mindset, you're working on your self-belief, you're working on all of that negative self-talk, that's the difficult stuff. And that's why having a coach and a community is so valuable, because you don't have to go through that alone, okay? So going back a little bit, implementing fasting into your daily life. Okay, so I do a 16-8. I break my fast around 1 p.m. Usually I've done my workout, then I have my first meal, and there's loads of benefits to working out in a fasted state. We'll talk about that at a later date. So I have my first meal around that 1 p.m. kind of mark. My last meal around 8:30-ish, before 9, right? So that's all my meals within those 8 hours. And then the rest of the time I fast. I drink green tea at night instead of looking for snacks. You don't need those snacks, girlfriend. Step away from the pantry. I have green tea or herbal teas at night before I go to bed. When I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee with just a splash of almond milk or even just black. I have a couple of cups of coffee. My pre-workout doesn't break my fast. I look for a specific, characteristics, that's not the right word, but you get what I mean, of a pre-workout brand where it's not going to break my fast because it contains a bunch of shit chemicals, sugar, etc., etc. So I have those things, do my workout, and then I eat my first meal. I eat about every 4 hours. So my first meal around 1, my second meal around 5, my last meal before 9. So every 4 hours, right? So in between each of those meals, my body's getting the opportunity to insulin to have its nap. Chill the fuck out so that I can access my fat stores, right? But you don't have to immediately jump in and start doing that. You could wait, like have your last meal at 8 p.m. Your first meal, maybe it's at 8 a.m. That's a 12-hour fast. Maybe that first meal is at 9 a.m. That's 13 hours. Maybe it's at 10 a.m. That's 14 hours. The longer you can push it out, the better. But as long as you're giving yourself that window, and as long as you're not snacking all the hours that God sends in between meals, you're gonna get the benefits. So snacking, hey Kat, snacking that needs to go, okay? Grazing, it needs to go. You need to start being more intentional with your eating habits, especially if fasting is something that you want to implement for the long term. All right, so hopefully that gives you a couple of ideas about how you can start to implement this slowly and start to see a difference in the way in which your body operates. Because once your hormones have the opportunity to everything works better. Trust me on that. And it's not just about the weight loss, it's about your health in general. So how can we collaborate on that? So me and my clients, you've probably seen this. We've had, like I said, this is week 8 of our extreme accountability focus that we've been working on, and we're going for 75 days, right? What I'm proposing to you is 8 weeks. 8 weeks starting the 3rd week of March. So starting March 22nd, 8 weeks where we're implementing exercise because that's important for so many reasons. We're implementing focus on your nutrition, intentionally. How are you eating? What are you eating? Because all of that matters. We're not counting calories. We're not counting macros, none of that. Just getting back to the basics of what proper nutrition looks like, right? And I'll provide you all the tools, all the coaching, all the systems, resources, everything around figuring that out. So eating as our bodies were designed to eat, and then implementing a fasting strategy that works with your specific lifestyle. If you're, a shift worker, if you're a stay-at-home mom, so you're working around the kids' schedules, if you have a full-time job and you have unpopular hours or unsociable hours, whatever, we'll figure out how fasting can work for your specific lifestyle demands so that it's something that you can sustain for the long term. Remember what I said about consistency. That's why initially it's 8 weeks, but that's really to set you up for your lifestyle. So if that sounds like something you would like to do, either comment below or shoot me a private message and we can talk about specifics, because this is something that I want to empower more people to take their health back underneath their control. If 2020 taught us anything, it was that our health is vitally important, because that big bad that's out there specifically targets people that have compromised immune systems, that have underlying health conditions. So the healthier we can be, the better. I can't speak to everybody because we've heard plenty of those cases, but generally, wouldn't that be more empowering to you to be taking steps to have your health underneath your control? So that's what I'm offering you. I would love it for us to have the opportunity to talk a little bit further and talk specifically about what you're dealing with. So I hope to hear from you soon. Guys, it was so good to chat with you. I'm just going to look. Sarah, you're so sweet. We're not built to feel like shit. We're not. Even when, I love that she said that, even when we're entering middle age, even when we're thinking about aging, it's not that you get to this certain age and all of a sudden you're supposed to feel like dog shit every day. You're not. Inflammation is huge when it comes to autoimmune conditions, when it comes to aging related issues. It's not that our bodies are aging, it's that we stop doing the things to keep us vibrant, to keep us functional, to keep us young. That's it really. I wish people would have more of that mindset. We don't age because we don't stop doing the things because we age because we stop doing the things. Isn't that so much more of an empowering place to be? Oh, thank you, sweetie. Oh, you guys are so kind. All right, I have to go. But hopefully this speaks to you. Again, I'm going to upload this on IGTV, so if you're watching the recording, feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. Take your health back underneath your control, okay? Let's do that together. Mwah. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, guys.